No, not at all. We work for The Guardian. We make videos for The Guardian.
Can I be in it?
What do you want to say?
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
I want to know how life is here at the minute for you.
Seeing as we've been making these films for well over 10 years now, and also we're being encouraged to believe that we're on our way out of one reality into God knows whatever comes next, it seemed like a good opportunity to take stock and look at Anywhere But Westminster and ask why and what next, probably with the help of the people who watch the films.
So let's start at the beginning, when we first started making these films back in 2009. And in the beginning there were party conferences, right?
There was. And the Lord said, "You will be bored." Very, very strange places. Completely sort of artificial environment, really.
It was like a metaphor of how bad politics had become, right? We started going out and talking to people on the streets.
Can we ask you a question? We're making a film about people looking for jobs. Go on!
So this was early in the coalition. Austerity was in full effect. I can remember I was horribly hungover that day. And we had in our heads some idea that we'd talk to people and then we'd take that into the conference. We met these two young guys, one of whom had just come back from a tour of duty in Afghanistan, who were selling paintball and getting paid a pittance.
How much are you making on a bad day?
Nothing.
You'll work all day for nothing?
Yeah.
What else is there? There's no other
I'm 19 years old. I'm full of ambition, desire. I want to do something, but at the moment, I've got nowhere to turn to at the moment.
I felt really sort of crushed going back into the conference. The sort of vividness and the life of the conversations that we'd had, and the sort of deadening effects of walking into a conference. I mean, that was it really.
That it taught us politics should be covered from the street rather than from the inside.
Yeah.
It's getting more difficult all the time, to be honest with you. We had a pay freeze last year. We're facing the same, next year from April.
There's 342 people coming out of jobs to the shops. They're all boarded up. Pub there. Used to be a cracking pub.
What, you're working a 60-hour week? What's the money like?
Shit.
Ile ja zarabiam na godzinę w hotelu, to wstyd się przyznawać.
That's today's catch in there. How have you done?
You really need to know?
Yeah.
Terrible.
So more than ever, you felt that this sort of idyll that had been painted of this sort of prosperous country where everyone was broadly content, that was the sort of 90s vision, and that had slipped away, hadn't it?
But it hadn't yet found a political expression.
It hadn't found a political expression, but there was a lot of people going, well, I don't like this. This is making me feel weird. And it made us feel weird as well.
And then along came 2014.
How's the place doing, do you think?
Ooh, rubbish.
Terrible.
Really?
Terrible.
They call it Beirut, basically.
Yeah, we're a backwater, aren't we? That nobody gives a shit about.
And do you think he and Mr. Farage are any different?
Well, I'm hoping so.
They're all lying, aren't they?
Who's lying?
Well, all of them, the ins and the outs.
We get to decide on the future of this bit of land.
That's not the first time I've ever voted.
You're joking?
If we start this, we could make a big forward movement for the rest of the country, because I think we should. Because I think the poverty in this country between us and England and everywhere else shouldn't be happening in 2014.
What's your message then to people in Yorkshire or Liverpool or Manchester or
Stand
Cornwall?
up and ask for a referendum myself to change it all. Change it all, make a movement.
Come in!
Pay increase, London waiting.
Do you think you'll get it?
Yeah, we have to. We'll get it. We have to get it. Yes.
This is a precious thing for Kensington. I think if that was to be taken away, you would take away. Yeah, it's like ripping the heart out of it, really.
Where are you from?
Portugal.
Portugal. Where are you from?
Cameroon.
Okay, and you're from?
Malaysia.
And you're from? Liverpool.
2016.
Sorry to bother you. Can I give you a leaflet about the upcoming referendum?
Really starting to get a sense now of how, like all referendums, this one is about much more than what's on the ballot paper.
We didn't know what was going to happen, and certainly the idea that Remain was a shoo-in was just absurd, right? And so we decided quite quickly, right, we've got to go on the road.
It's too much recession here.
No jobs for English peoples.
But you're not from England originally.
No,
right?
I'm here nearly 40 years.
I studied environmental health and I can't even get a job. As a person who came into the UK 15, 16 years ago, I've seen the change. I know what is happening. I've been there. It's affected me. But the thing is, I'm pulling out.
My mum had her weight there, God rest her soul.
In
You
the
know
pub?
what I mean? In the Bill of Greens, yeah. It's just, look,
Booming, thriving Manchester's only 10 minutes drive down there.
yeah.
Why does that happen?
Money talks.
Last question. How are you voting in this referendum?
Out.
They're all voting in town.
Of course they will. They've got that.
We were in this exact same spot and we had a very good encounter with a fella who came out of the Betfred betting shop. Quite by chance. He's there again.
See all them people who vote for Brexit, they all came out under Zimmer frame because they're patriotic and they wanted Britain to be great, and it will never be great again. When they was going around robbing and reaping and they were great then. Now people are looking revenge. You understand me? They're taking back what they can take out of England.
Actually, I was one of the inrush that was going to be deported.
Were you?
They said I had no right of residency in this country. And I came here 59 when I was 4.
People have been conned. The same as it's my fault that the country's on its knees because of disabled people and jobless people and all the rest of it. It's nothing to do with the Tories, is it?
But do you have a meaningful option in this election, do you think?
Absolutely. For the first time ever, I think we've genuinely got a choice. I want to vote against crony capitalism, and the only way to do that is to vote someone like Jeremy Corbyn. Change the priority. Stop spending money on bloody war. Feed and clothe the poor, every single person, not one person excluded, yeah? And we could actually progress as a species on this planet.
What's your name, sir?
I am the Tin Man.
Thank you, Mr. Tin Man.
Hey.
It was lovely to meet you.
See ya.
Basically, what we've been covering for years, right? People's insecurity and sense of loss about places they lived in.
Yeah.
Lay behind a lot of these political responses.
Yeah, it did.
And people had them in common, right?
Yeah.
People wanted their communities to be better. They wanted
Yeah.
more security and control over their lives.
They did.
But those commonalities got lost. And instead what we got is division.
Well, I think what you got in the wake of the referendum was the drama and spectacle of division and polarisation and argument, because that's what you see if you're not careful when you pick up your telephone, right? As soon as you go on any social media platform. And what got lost in the midst of that was, you know, the thing that we'd been reminded of endlessly down the years, which was that no matter where you went and who you spoke to, a hell of a lot of the same stuff came out about insecurity, inequality, people wanting a greater sense of community and a future they could sort of depend on, right?
The other important thing is that we everywhere we go, people are all right? We like them, they're good people. And that we meet people doing great work in their communities, both big and small, right?
Yeah, yeah.
People within the Wigan community, they've got the ideas. The only thing that they're lacking at the minute is the funding. For me, I believe that our idea literally could change the world.
Yeah, you find everything from sort of small kindnesses passing between sort of friends and neighbours to big ambitious projects. And all of them are sort of political, but only with a small p, right? I mean, that's one of the fascinating things about them. I'd like to know more about those. I'd like to cover those things more.
Yeah, they're the sort of people we need to put into the foreground.
The precautions we have to take. I don't like these. These are very Hannibal Lecter. I don't think you can go up to people and talk to them wearing that, can you? It's just not right.
Right,
Talk to you for a minute.
Like shit.
Talking living out with this COVID.
Yeah, you can't get
It's like
nowhere.
living out with this
Do you know what I mean?
COVID,
You ain't earning no money.
Mental health's gone down the nick a bit. Well, a lot.
My mental health's been affected, and no one's asked
I'll ask you if you don't mind. I mean, how have you been?
Very lonely. I feel like I didn't have anyone to talk to.
This isn't some sort of... I don't think people think of this as some bolt from the blue that turned everything upside down. It's like one more thing. And this is the biggest thing so far.
So what are you guys...
We work for The Guardian, the newspaper.
Okay, what are you asking questions about?